Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Central Coast Currents. Thank you so much for watching your community television station. Today, your host is Steve Elzy, and I believe he's in the studio, and that's me. Thanks again for watching. What a topic we have for you. It's all about the #1 economic engine for the peninsula. That's tourism. That's hospitality. We've got a couple gentlemen on here who are going to tell us about the cutting edge in hospitality marketing. I'm not going to say any more about it because I want them to talk about it. They know it much, much better than I do. Let me tell you their names and I'll show you their pictures in a moment. First of all, we have Eric Brandt. Eric is the president and CEO of Destination Media Solutions. And also in the studio with us is Romney Dunbar, who is the owner of Dunbar Productions out of Santa Cruz, California. And I will let you gentlemen start talking right about now. First of all, welcome. And Eric, I'm going to throw the first question at you. What exactly is Destination Media Solutions? And tell us about it.
Well, Steve, thanks for letting us be here. We're excited to be here, and we're excited to be part of what we're building here in Monterey. Destination Media Solutions grew out of, as many businesses, we hope good ones, grow out of a need that we experienced. You mentioned hospitality, and hospitality business is not just people putting the soap in the rooms, it's every level of showing people a good time. And our company was built out of a need when I was working up in North Lake Tahoe at Squaw Valley of how do you communicate with the guests while they're in the market. And my background, as well as Romney's in entertainment and media and television, as well as more recently in the web and internet technology, allowed us to create a platform that is a hybrid of television and video related engagement and marketing using the power of video, and then delivering that video in multi-platform ways to visitors, both in the market when they're here, in their hotel rooms, in their iPads and their mobile devices, as well as prior to coming here and after coming here online, on the web and in other manners as well. So we're essentially a digital media and marketing company totally focused on the visitor experience specific to the destination that we're in.
Romney, we worked together. It was a real pleasure, and I've been watching your career since then. How does this new venture fit in with what you're doing?
Well, it's been great. Eric and I knew of each other and worked together and shared ideas for several years as we both became more entrepreneurial after our corporate lives. And we're often on the same page. What his technology added to what we were trying to do here was the hyperlocal function. That is, we're actually putting a channel into the hotels, which has been done in other markets. But this was a little different because his technology is so advanced with an internet server that actually puts a custom channel into a property. So there's a lot more creativity that you can have. There's a playlist really you can work with. What that does though is it puts the entire neighborhood and community into play for advertisers or for talking to an audience that's coming to visit for a couple of days. If you can get that person interested and realize that there are things happening around them, even a block around them or a mile around them, they might stay another day. They might stay 2 days, or they might come back in a month. Then everybody wins. So what I saw this did for us is it was a new way to reach an audience of very serious eyeballs that are really here for a purpose, to enjoy themselves. And it just took everything we were doing to another level, even though we were already broadcasting and already doing web streaming. It really completed the loop, if you will.
In other words, the travels with Romney that you were doing before was extended and augmented by this.
Right. Now there's another way to leverage video that we already have. There's ways to talk to new advertisers. And then with all the events that go on, now there was a place to put that where it didn't really fit into our model. A monthly magazine show didn't move fast enough in 2012. Right. And what Eric's able to do is have really a real-time component now, and that's very intriguing.
The core component that Romney was mentioning is the ability to not only custom brand the channel to the destination, to the hotel property, and literally down to the block that people are in, but also to have it be current. So visitor channels, per your question, they've been around for a while. Old school visitor channels, even new visitor channels, of which there are some in other destinations and cities, and there's some well-established ones overseas in Hong Kong, Singapore. The typical use, it's a looping DVD that just plays the same thing over and over and over. And yes, there's information on there that's of interest to the guests, which is the goal of everyone who's trying to do this sort of thing. But when we started in Lake Tahoe, the key was to be able to deliver timely and relevant content when and where people need it. So what we were able to do is take internet technology, using IP technology, to make it so that our servers are actually running live content. So the videos they're looping, giving all the exposure and all the information that the visitors want, but at the same time they're grabbing current events, they're grabbing live weather, live webcams, in Tahoe, the ski conditions, all those sorts of things. We're able to actually have a near live, totally relevant now experience for the visitors. So people, when they turn on the TV, it's always about what's happening now. The events are talking about what happens today, tomorrow, and the next day during their 3-day stay. That's the difference in our platform, is the ability to literally create that experience that's so right about them getting into their room and them being there in the destination. And our goal, really, one of the key components here is we don't really want people to watch TV. We want them to tune in, learn something about the destination, get excited, and go out and have a good time. And that's it. So our one of our mottos is tune in, then get out.
We're not a movie channel.
No, we're not a movie channel.
We're a destination.
You didn't come to Monterey to sit in the hotel the whole time.
Don't get comfortable while you're watching.
If you want to sit down, go to the spa.
That's great. All right, I want to ask you this question now. What is holo holo? Did I say it right? I don't even know if I said it right.
You said it right. Holo holo is a word with Hawaiian origins, and it essentially means let's all go out and have a good time. Oh. And it's it's basically it's a word that, as I developed this over the years, it's like started to realize that our whole focus is on showing people a good time. And when you say hospitality, it's kind of medicinal sounding. It could be hospital. So hospitality business happens to be the business we're in, but holo holo is our philosophy behind the content we produce, and thereby we've essentially named the platform Holo Holo. So across all the destination networks that we're building, Holo Holo is the sort of operative word that we can talk to people about.
Romney, I'm going to come at you with this one. Now, you know the area very, very well. You know all the different businesses in the area. What do you tell people, you personally tell people about the Visitor Channel?
I think it's a great opportunity to, again, to talk to someone who's here that is really right under your nose, so to speak, right next door, that may step right over you and miss something important. So even though we've done every technology we can grasp to get our show out there, it's another great thing that can be measured. Someone can walk into a restaurant and say, I was just in my hotel, I learned about you, I came to see you. So those are all important rules of the game now in marketing. You want to have some measurability, trackable information. But I just tell people that you've got these people that have chosen to come. Maybe that's the one time in their life they'll come. We hope that it isn't, but we hope if it is, they'll stay an extra day or two. They'll get more out of it, and they'll leave with a smile on their face. So the idea is we want to cheerlead somewhat for the area and put our best foot forward, but this is a way to do it with people that are already committed to being here. They're literally here. They literally, let's face it, they have money in their pocket, and they're looking for something to do with it. That's a pretty intriguing audience to have, and if we can have a new way to engage them, we have a fighting chance at growing the earnings for our clients, but also getting repeat visitation and having people realize there's wine country in Monterey that I had no idea was competitive with Napa, or we could do this and we could do that, and we could put something together here that we didn't realize. So that's our goal in the big picture. Sort of our mission statement is the longer repeat stays, growing the market. But then specifically, it's a mix of content that Eric's had a lot of success with in Tahoe, of attractions, activities, yes, food and dining, yes, wine, tasting, but really a mix. So there might be something for everybody: kayaks to museums to events, like you said. So it's we're really just starting. I think there's a long way to go, and with his several years of experience in Tahoe, we sort of have that map to follow. But I'm really excited about the possibilities around our bay.
Well, I'm so glad you mentioned the wine.
I mentioned the wine 3 times.
35 wineries, though. People don't realize that.
Right.
Yeah.
14 or 15 tasting rooms.
Right.
And this is the type of thing that'll be on your channel. Correct?
Well, let's just say you're in the Intercontinental, the Plaza. Some of our really early adopters, great supporters. There are tasting rooms a couple of blocks, and literally if the Intercontinental right next door.
Sure.
I think Canterbury Row have 4 of them. So I live here, and I would not perhaps have counted to 4, right? So it's just important to know that this is something that also helps the local and helps with a concierge, for instance, at a hotel, to know more, so that when someone comes up to them and asks, maybe they've watched the channel or gone to our website a little bit to sort of bone up on their message. So I think that there's a lot of things we're trying to do here that are fairly easy to accomplish, but it's getting that information into the right hands.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the actual mechanics of it. And Eric, I'll throw this one at you. You walk into your hotel room, okay? What next? I guess you turn on the TV, or what next?
Well, you mentioned turning on the TV. That the stats are very high that the first thing people do within 5 minutes of going into their hotel rooms, Hilton did a study several years ago, is turning on the TV. They walk in, turn it on, and it's on almost the entire visit. You know, people are on, they're watching TV, they want to know what's going on. The key is, well, let me just back up. All of our host hotels are partners with us. We're partners with them to enhance their guests' experience. So we become a tool for each host property to say, hey, if you want to know what's going on, and back to it's current. So it'll talk, what band's playing down the street, when the farmer's market is, blah, blah, blah. So at the front desk, they're being told, hey, tune into channel 32 or whatever it is, depending on the hotel. Check on channel 32. It'll give you a quick rundown on what's going on. Plus, you get the weather, and you can look at the live webcam and see see what's going on. And then they start to get engaged in the destination. Maybe they discover, like you said, something they didn't know. So beyond the obvious things, the major attractions that everyone tends to know about, it's what's around the corner, what's in the nooks and crannies, what's beyond the more well-known components. So we're trying to what's beyond the more well-known components. So what we're trying to do is give folks, through viewing video, which is the number one engagement tool that exists. It's a very powerful medium, and we're giving visitors a chance to learn something new. So typically, it's a cluttered marketplace. I mean, if you fly into Hawaii and you get off the airplane, the number of print pieces that are stacked as you're getting out of the airport is huge. And they're all basically the same. And yes, they've got great content, they've got maps and all sorts of things that people can use, but it's overwhelming. It's cluttered. And so what we try and do is narrow it down to information that people want to know about. I mean, the two number one things that people do, I learned this at the California Travel Conference last week. I reinforced it. Dining and shopping are the two number one things that are on their list. Okay. People in any destination, dining and shopping rank the highest from surveys that were done by California Travel Association and things like that. So we focus on the core categories of the visitor experience, but within those core categories, we build a mix. It's not just 5-star restaurants. It's where do you go get the best burger. It's not just the major attraction in town. It's other things to try out, a place to hike. Plus, another component is culture. And what my love of Lake Tahoe is the reason I built this, and I like showing people a good time. I literally love to welcome people, no matter where I go, even if I'm not really a local. Like here, I'm not really a local. I see somebody kind of looking at a sign and going, "Where the heck am I?" You know, I know enough to say, "Hey, can I help you find something?" And they'll go, "Yeah, where the heck's the aquarium?" Well, it's all the way down at the other end there. You know, so those sorts of things. So showing, helping, little hand holding, showing people through the video, showing them a good time and giving them a little welcome, getting them engaged, talking about what's going on, and connecting with them delivers a happy customer, which is, by and large, number one importance for any market in terms of how they compete in the world these days.
Okay, I noticed something there. You said, well, welcome, inform, engage, and connect. That's your tagline, isn't it?
Yep, surprisingly enough.
All right. Could you elaborate just a little bit more on that? Or
Well,
either one of you, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of encompasses the four major components of what our content is designed to do. First of all, we want to, working with the host properties, working with the destination marketing organizations, we're a tool for them to welcome people. You know, we have every intention, this is what we do at Tahoe. We've got people from the community on camera saying, "Hey, I'm Joe of Joe's Bar and Grill. Welcome to North Lake Tahoe," or whatever it is, you know. So we can do that sort of thing where you get a personal experience through the video. The inform is, what's the weather going to be like? What's going on in town? What is there to do down the street? Oh, I didn't know that there was a spa in this hotel. Blah blah blah. So getting information about what's going on. The engage is taking people beyond just the knowledge of what's going on and getting them active. Engaging people and say, "Hey, you should go check this out." They go check it out. They start to participate in the experience of being in the destination. And then the connect is a critical component in terms of how we deal with the technology. Typically, television's still graduating into figuring out how to deal with social media. How do you deliver people off of television into an advertiser's business or whatever it is? The unique thing with our hotel channels and our visitor channels is they run 24 hours a day. We own and operate all the content, so we have absolute freedom to do whatever we want. So we're doing things like building QR codes into ads and on the screen. And in most cases on television, if a QR code shows up, A, most people don't know what it is.
Right.
And B, it's too quick for them to get their phone out and do it. However, because we run the content, we can actually run a little piece that says, "Hey, while you're watching this information about the dining show, keep your smartphone handy, and if you see a QR code, scan it, and it'll dial, and you make a reservation to go have dinner, or a reservation for golf, or whale watching, or whatever it is." Those sorts of things. Another component we're looking at once we're up and running in a full scale here is delivering people through something like a Show Us Your Room Key program. Mm-hmm. So where we know that we're talking to the guest, they've all got a room key in their pocket, and participating businesses that are on the Show Us Your Room Key program come on the channel and say, "Hey, I'm Joe from Joe's Bar and Grill. Show me your room key, and I'll give you 10% off your check for your family," or what, those sorts of things. So driving business again. So in a sense, it's like virtual couponing and virtual deals, which is top of people's minds these days. So we've got a lot of room to play with all sorts of ways to deliver.
And then there's in the future, there's also the live factor. The fact that we call this the Monterey Visitor Channel, the Santa Cruz Visitor Channel, but really it's Destination Media Solutions offers a California Visitor Network, if you will. So if you start thinking about what Eric has done in Tahoe and Reno and built it to quite a large reach, the potential we have here, and we sort of have a regional channel. It's a real channel. It happens to be in online and in hotels, but there could be some way in the future to either go live from a local event, something or some sponsoring capacity. There's going to be a lot more creative ideas for it. I mean, the main step we're in now is building it, growing the reach of it, but I think playing with it, if you will, working with it, is never going to stop. The technology will keep advancing. There'll be a lot of different things we can do with it. And like I said, whatever reaches people, it'll have a real audience. We'll be able to gauge and count with more experience. But what do you have in Tahoe? Thousands of rooms.
Yeah, around
already
7,500 rooms.
Yeah, 7,500 rooms. So
That's amazing.
So there's really something there when you consider that again, 24 hours a day and that kind of a reach. Hard to say exactly what we'll come up with, but I think again there's a real upside to this as far as when people use it as a educational tool, but it'll be more fun than that. But it's also it's a fun educational tool about the area and things to do, because it's all about leisure time, leisure time activities.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you brought something up really, really good there, Rami. You said it's all about leisure time activities, but what is there a business, any type of category of businesses that just absolutely fit perfectly for this, or how does that work?
Well, really destination marketing. So it's really about, again, leisure time. Businesses that really fit in are those things that you would do on vacation, things to do with your family. So you sort of know what those look like, sort of the dining guide and the kayaking and the golfing and things like that. I think that's what people want to see on the channel. I think there are some tough fits. You want it to be content that's around here. It'd be outdoorsy and indoorsy, depending on what our client is. But really a vacation market.
Yeah, we term it, whatever goes on there has to be relevant to a visitor experience.
Right.
It may be stuff that they're thinking, okay, yeah, it better have something about dining or whatever. And
Sure.
at the same time, we have the ability to inject things they may not have known they could do here, like the wine thing that you mentioned before. So,
or it could be like the zip lines and things like that. Things that would reach all ages of a family, things like that. But obviously, we hope their car doesn't break down while they're here. But we probably wouldn't have a lot of mechanical advertisers on this channel. It's not really a fit for that. So you can just imagine that rather than, in me asking Eric so many questions over the last couple of years about this, we don't really want it to be another cable channel in the hotel room. We don't want it to have that look of a string of ads. We want it to flow a little bit like Travels with Rami does,
right.
or like his programming in Tahoe does. It's a little bit longer form and a little bit more entertaining, and we do our advertorial shtick as programming. It's more of a show and a little less like a string of ads. So we're in that challenge of fitting a lot of people in to the loop so that they're not too long. But we want to have some content pieces, some things that are just about like a great hiking place, or something about the history of Doc Ricketts or something like that. You want to have a little bit of that on there. Obviously, we can't take the time that for instance, AMP does with longer form, but we want it to have that kind of feeling. We want it to have that kind of feeling.
Sure.
So just so you have this idea that it's not necessarily it looks like a cable channel. It's going to look a little bit more like a travel channel.
Eric, one of the most unique and compelling things about this whole program is it's an incredible reach that you can offer. Tell us about that, please.
Well, the unique situation that we're in, being in the hotel rooms and working with our host properties to deliver this content to visitors, as opposed to more typical media. So let's say you buy a quarter-page ad in a print piece, or you buy a 30-second spot in some market that you want to attract people from an external market to your market. That's going to run to, in the print case, it's X number of pieces are printed, and then they're gone. So if it's a monthly piece, it runs for a month, and you're on page 36, and there's your quarter-page ad, and it's done, and that's it. And so let's say the circulation is 30,000. You're reaching potentially 30,000, assuming everyone gets to page 36.
Yeah.
On the external market, in terms of marketing using a video spot in another market trying to sell your location, that's going to run. It's reaching the subscriber base that exists, which are in the cable market. Generally, the subscriber base is always the same market. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, certainly, if you want to reach everyone in the San Francisco DMO, including Monterey, you got a huge market here, and if you're putting your spot on at the right time next to the right programming, you're going to reach a lot of people. What's unique about the visitor channel is, as opposed to the cable again, which the subscriber base is generally always it's the same households and for the most part the same people watching TV in the same places. The visitor base changes every 2.5 days, roughly based on occupancy. Every 2.5 days, the entire visitor base of the channel in hotel rooms across the region is changing. So you're compounding your reach. So literally, like in Tahoe, we have roughly 7,500 hotel rooms. You take the occupancy rate, you take 2.5 people per room, they're there 2.5 days, over X amount of time at, let's say even 50% occupancy. All of a sudden, over the course of a year, you're reaching over 2 million people.
Wow.
And they're all visitors. They're the people you want to reach, and they're standing down the street or within a few miles of your business.
Absolute targeted market.
Yeah, totally hitting the button in the right spot. And that's I think for me, when I first started looking at it, that's one of the most compelling components is that in terms of the spend, and it's also less expensive than a quarter page or a half page ad that hits maybe 30,000. It's in terms of the spend and the cost per impression, it's unbelievably realistic that this is a place you should be because you're reaching your target customer.
Excellent ROI.
Extreme.
Okay. Rami, how are you rolling this out? I know I'm sure you got a specific way that you're doing it, but
We have the first thing we do, obviously, is and they're happening almost concurrently, but because we're building the content, we're building the channel, and we're selling people into it. But at the same time, we're trying to build it faster than that. We're trying to build the reach of it through more hotels. So we really just want to invite the hospitality groups in Monterey and in Santa Cruz, the Hospitality Association, Lodging Association. We're working with the CVB and the CVC, both counties. We really want them to say, look, this has come to town. It's here. It's us. And we want to talk to the visitors and help promote. And all they have to do is sign. So we really want them to grow. We can grow our business model from that. But as far as the hospitality group or the property owners, it's free to them. And it's a terrific opportunity. So we're really a strategic partnership that we're inviting. And then obviously the market develops itself for those that want to participate, those that want to invest into it. Have already told us, hey, I'd be better off down the street in the hotel I can see from my shop and count the floors on than perhaps, I must say, that periodical or the thing I tried last year or the map. So it's a very provocative idea, but it really will. It really depends right now on our rollout in the properties and growing the network. And then if you build it, they will come. Right? I think someone said that. It's a good line. So
yeah, a critical part of that is in working with the destination marketing organizations, we're here to partner with them. We're here to take DMOs spend millions of dollars trying to bring people into the market. Mm-hmm. And literally, a little over 3-4 years ago, I would be told, oh no, we don't do anything in market. We spend all the millions outside and bring people in, which makes sense. You got to spend where you got to spend it. But what would happen is the brand would stop when people hit the tarmac and land in the plane. And all of a sudden you've spent all this money with creating a brand and a presumed experience that someone's going to have. And then because the DMO said, well, we don't have enough money to spend in market, so the local businesses have to pick up the brand and kind of make it happen. And in my experience, that may not be the best way to do it. So what we're here to do is partner with them and take the Monterey brand that exists and take what's been invested and deliver it to the visitor when they're here.
Destination Media Solutions.
Yep.
And Eric Brandt, Romney Dunbar, thank you so much for coming in today. It's been a pleasure. This is something we have needed a long time, and these gentlemen have brought it to us. So we thank them for being here, and we thank you for watching your community television channel. See you next week.